Hi to all. In this tutorial I would like to showcase how to make a complex model, something quite difficult to make with the FDM Formfinder. So we will start a new job using the NFDM, the natural force density method. Then where in the boundary I have drawn my boundary curves. So here it is, and we want to make out of this boundary tensile structure. So I will make a new layer and call it my CAD layer and activate it. The first thing that we'll do now is just go into the CAD tools and create a number of surfaces out of these curves like this. I am right clicking to recall the command, the tool, click on 3 curves and right click to confirm the curve selection. Okay, curve. Okay, so we have made this part here. Now it comes to model this other part. Well, as we can see here, the edge boundary is made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 edges, and well, it's a three-dimensional curve, so we cannot create a surface out of 7 edges. At least 4 is the maximum number. So first of all, I will use here now the join tool, and I will join these curves here into a single curve. Again, recall the command, this one and this one, this one and this one, this one, and curve and curve. So I have joined these curves in a single curve, and as we can see here, I can create a new line from this point to this point. We don't care so much about the internal curvature of the surface, since we will relax them later with the Formfinder, so it can be even a flat surface. What's important is that the edges where we need the fixed edges are on our boundaries. So I will create again surface by 3 or 4 edges, and now my edges will be these, this one. Again, I will draw another line here and here, like this. So we can go ahead and create the other surfaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, and 4. That's it. We have created these other surfaces, and now we need to create the other ones. So again, create surface by 4 edges. This one, this one, this one, and that one. This one and that one. Okay. That's it. So we have created all the surfaces for our boundaries. So let's save the model. Now, before creating the mesh, we need to join all these surfaces into a single surface with the join tool. So it's a single surface. All this for the simple reason, when we go and create the mesh, we want that the mesh is tight over the edges, and this will be true only if all these surfaces are joined into a single surface. So I will create a new layer and call it my tensor. I activate the layer and create a new tensor group, and I activate also my tensor group. So we select the surface. I have active here my group where I want to create the FEM mesh. We go into the FEM tools and we call the tool tessellate. The tessellate is asking me a number of parameters, but the most important one here is the maximum edge length. In this case, it's I'll put it to 1 meter and click OK, and you see that he has created a mesh inside our surfaces like that. So I can hide now my CAD layer, and there's something that we see here, that some surfaces are flipped, they are upside down. Well, let's see how to fix these. I want to flip the meshes that we see in white is the positive side of the mesh, and the transparent part is the negative side. So I would like to flip those parts that are negative to be positive. I will use here the flag, the selection filters only on mesh objects, and then I will use the tool select by polyline. So I go down here like that, close, and I have selected this mesh, and then we use the tool flip to flip it upside down. So I have fixed this. Let's flip also this other one here. So flip. And we have flipped that one. Let's do it again here. Be careful, don't select that. And flip this one. We can use now inside here the select single, so it's more easy maybe to select these triangles missing. I am using now the select single. Control key to deselect. So selecting all these edges like that. select these here. Okay, so we can now flip these. That's fine. All the mesh is in the correct orientation. Oops, here we have one still upside down. So I'll select it. Select also this. And this one here. And flip these. That's it. Okay, fine. So we have created the mesh. We need now to create the boundary of this mesh and the boundaries of this top part here, where we have these curves. So first, the boundary of the mesh. I will create now a new FEM 2D group and activate it. The boundary of the mesh, so my tensor group is active. We have this tool here, detect and create a boundary. As soon as we call this tool, we will see a dot. This is the starting point of the boundary. And we have here in the options the deviation angle. Change the deviation angle to a smaller angle. And we can see now that the software has detected that the edges all these points. So in this case, all these will become boundary edges. So apply, and we see that select all the boundary edges have been created of this mesh. I will select them. These are beam elements, they are linear, and they are fixed. Okay. Now we need to create other beams. These beams are inside the mesh here. So we need to create now edges over these internal points. And here I have made a few, but here there's no other way accurate way than using the tool create a mesh curve. So I have to click on the points like this. And so we have created our edge. We have this edge here, and let's create another one. Mesh curves. Mesh curves. I have made a mistake there. Now we will go and fix it. And I will use the tool. I will use the tool split. Yes. And then move node here. Okay. For these internal curves here, it's a bit more simple to make the edges, since we have those arches, and the number of points here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can use again the tool. I will select these edges like this and use the tool tessellate again with 9 points. So you can see we have created the chains that we need. Okay. Once we have created all the geometry, let's select these, and one piece is missing here. Let's create the last piece. So let's select all these. This is a curve, don't need that. So again, all these are fixed beams. So the type is beam, it's a linear beam, and it's fixed. And let's put it out there. Put it to blue so you can see it. That's it. So at the end, you see it takes a little bit time. This is a quite complex model, but we have made out the mesh and the boundary of these elements. The last thing that we should do is to fix some points here. I go and fix them. Fix these points. These are fixed. Fine, save, and okay. Last step, we have the mesh. The last step is to set the warp and the weft direction. Well, for this quite complex model, if we go into the tensor group, we right click on the mesh, set warp weft orientation. The easiest thing to do is to say that the XY plane, so the horizontal plane, will cut the mesh on the weft. So it's the weft plane. That means that all the weft curves will be horizontal, the weft direction, and the opposite direction will be the warp. Close with OK. We are ready for form finding. Of course, we need only one step for this mesh. That's it. So we have done the form finding, and now we can give a look at the priestess. Let's give a look at the membrane stresses, and here they are. We see some red cores here and some different stress distribution, but as we could see from the plot, the stresses go, the blue is 1 kilonewtons per meter and the red is 1.01078. If we run another form finding step, we see again that the stresses now are nearly 1.004 up to 1, and we can run again another step. Each step we run, the stresses go down and down, and we see now that everything is going very, very close to a surface. So here it seems we have reached the balance. Here we have some red, that this red is 1.004 kilonewtons per meter, and the blue is 1 kilonewtons per meter. If we look at the other stresses, and we see that we have 0.996, and the red is 1 kilonewtons per meter. So basically we have, considering how complex this shape can be, and it's clear why maybe we have those stresses a little bit different, is this mesh is quite narrow in this area here. So this is a perfectly form-found surface. Of course, when it comes to pattern it, you can go and make patterns, and well, maybe we will use the single cutter like that and make it, and make our patterns. I am moving the cutter and pressing the M for make. So you see, we are making the patterns like that. The nice thing is that if you make a mistake, see here, these are our cuts here. If you make a mistake, you just click on one of these cuts and you move it to a new position like that. And these are the patterns out of the surface. So that's all, folks. Thanks for watching.